Just looking ahead to what the Foreign Secretary has to say tonight, and she wants things ratcheted up. She wants more support for Ukraine, and she makes this point, which is things are hanging in the balance. I mean, you would have thought that, Russia is holding all the cards, but we've got to supply the hardware for this.
I think she's broadly right. The horrible reality is that if the Ukrainians lose once, they lose completely.
Meaning?
Well, meaning if they get outflanked, if they get destroyed, then all of a sudden there's no cohesive Ukrainian army anymore, and Putin gets to drive a victory parade all over the Ukraine. So the Ukrainians are in this awful place where they have to keep fighting, keep hard, get in touch with their Tyson Fury or whatever, and just keep on fighting and keep on fighting and keep on fighting, which is going to be a long haul. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the Russian rhetoric is that as we're now sending them particularly powerful artillery, it changes the calculus slightly for the Russians, but in the Ukrainian advantage, the difference between the artillery we're sending them and the artillery they currently have is really very significant. A normal artillery piece might be able to put a shell within about 100, 200 metres where it aimed. With the 155 artillery, there are rounds that can make that within 4 or 5 metres of where it was aimed. And if that happens, then all of a sudden the artillery becomes a complete game changer.
And I presume that happens because there must be software attached to that which hones the missile in, which sounds to me as if it must take some sort of expert training.
Actually, it's largely automated because all the artillery is compatible with that ammunition. It's GPS guided. Mm-hmm. So we could dial in the grid and it flies itself there as opposed to dial in the grid.
Any of us could do that then? Any of us could set the...
Well, they're quite heavy. I fancy our chances. Bev's probably a little bit too slight to pick up 40, 50 kilogram shell and lob it in, but...
Okay, but for me, just alarm bells ringing left, right and centre. We're hearing from the horse's mouth yesterday, Putin giving this press conference, really stating that if there is incursion into Russian territory, if missiles have been fired by British equipment or indeed anywhere from NATO, then it would be an act of war from them, from NATO. This proxy war is happening. Are we creeping into the Third World War?
It's probably a diplomatic question more than a military one. We've had proxy wars with the former Soviet Union before. The difference, of course, this time is it's not. We're not dealing with a Russian proxy. We're dealing with Russia, and I can see that our support is without doubt making the Russian calculations change. So far, almost everything Mr. Putin or any of his minions have said on newspaper turns out not to be entirely true. He launched a war in Ukraine. He can't be surprised that occasionally something in Russia goes bang and he can jump up and down. But I don't think that the use of Western weaponry within Ukraine and a couple of strikes beyond the border is going to give him a casus belli.